Hey, hi everybody. Wow, there's a bunch of us up here, isn't there? Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Melanie. Hi, Roman.
Hello.
Hello.
Roman's here for a reason today. So, wow. And so we're going to have to get to it. We got to get busy. Um, our one of our dogs can't show up today. His mom, his foster mom, had a family emergency, and we wish everybody the best and hope everything's okay. And now we're going to be starting a segment this week. I don't know. We're going to name it something. I was thinking Roman to the Rescue Show. What can I say? Uh, Roman has or we did have a segment for Roman on one of the other shows called Roman to the Rescue. All right, remember that, Roman?
Yep,
So,
long time ago.
Yeah, quite a while ago. Well, we have set up a special email account for Q&As, for question and answers. You ask a question, Roman gives the answer. And the short time that we had it out there, we had some pretty good questions come in, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I tell you what, who do we start with, Jamie?
Um, let's see. We had somebody that wanted to start Faith. I can't remember if it was Faith or Mary Jo. Wanted to start
And just
the
so happens,
earliest.
I think Phil is one good looking dog now. So I think we will start with Faith. And we're going to make Phil a video. Okay. We had a little bit of well, I've been busy. I've been swamped. Roman can understand that one. And I didn't have much time anyway, but we're going to do Phil a video. Okay, Faith?
Oh, I'm delighted.
All right. And then here after, well, next week, we got another Pyr Parade going on. Okay.
Okay.
Only this time they're going to be in full costume
Okay.
for Halloween.
Sounds good.
And so maybe after that show and before our big Christmas event, did I let the cat out of the bag? Oh, look at him. But maybe you can bring him back on for an update. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I would be delighted. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be absolutely
All
delighted.
right. So, what can you tell us about him?
What can I tell you about him? I got Phil. So I got Phil because Gretchen was talking about the heat at headquarters and the dogs were getting ill and I couldn't bear it. And I said, all right, well, send me the most chill dog that you have. And I have a pretty hyper female peer who hasn't always gotten along with other dogs. So she picked Phil for me. And honestly, this dog has been a total delight since he came up. He came out of the truck immediately, very relaxed. I was amazed. And he was definitely raised in a home because he has amazingly good habits inside the house. He hasn't chewed anything. He's never had an accident inside the house. He actually doesn't bark excessively. He's very easygoing. He is a Velcro dog. He follows me from room to room, but not in a aggressive kind of needy, do for me, give to me way, more like a I love you and I'm just happy being near you way. And he rides really well in the car. I take him for errands with me. One day I lost my babysitter and I had to go to school and I put him in the car and we had breaks like every hour. And I just went out and spent 5 minutes with him every hour. And he spent the day in and out of the car, in and out of the car. And he was fine. It's a little car. He plays beautifully with Winnie. She jumps on top of him and does that bitey face thing. And he's never been aggressive with her. And I would just absolutely love to keep him, but I live on my own, and one peer is a lot for me. 2 peers is a little more than I can handle walking them. The only thing that I've had trouble with him, which is pursuant to what I just said, is that he will lurch if there are squirrels or bunnies on the leash. He is learning leave it, but he's not there. So that's a lot for me, like I said, because I'm on my own and, you know, he is a very powerful dog. But honestly, he is just the biggest wuss. He actually thinks he should sit on my lap. And I think that's hilarious the way he is. He will put his paws on my knees and reach up and put his face in my face and just lick my cheek.
Wow.
So I actually kind of said no to one adopter who seemed to want more of an outside kind of guard dog situation. And I'm like, Phil is a total mush, and he needs somebody who wants that in a dog.
Right. How much does he weigh?
He weighs 88 pounds, but he seems quite thin to me, so I think he should gain some weight.
Okay. Wow. Usually it's the 150-pound dogs that's got to be the lap dogs. So
Oh, that's very funny.
usually the bigger they are, the more adamant they want in your lap. So.
Oh, that's very funny. Yeah. No, he's like, oh yeah. And like I said, he definitely was raised by a person because he just acts like a person's dog. Unlike my other dog who was just like dumped in a backyard and is learning about being loving with people, Phil's like, oh yeah, I was meant to be a person's dog.
Okay. All right. And if we have time at the end of the show, we're going to ask Roman to go over the squirrel thing. It's a lot of times it's not what people think.
Okay, great.
Because first thing we think when they chase a squirrel is prey drive. First thing I think when they chase a squirrel is movement.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, like I said, if we have time after Roman covers his, maybe we can get him to give you a few hints on that one. Okay.
Great, that's wonderful.
Hey, can you tell us how where you're located and how old he is?
And how old what?
And how old he is?
I think, well, he's beyond the chewing phase, but people have looked at his teeth and he has no plaque on his teeth. And he still feels like a young dog in his enthusiasm and his gait. He's very bouncy. So I think that he's 3, like just past the baby phase. And I live on Capitol Hill in Seattle.
He seems to like belly rubs.
He does.
So what kind of
dog do you have? What dogs do you have in the house, Faith?
I have Winnie. Winnie, where are you?
You have a female in the house. Has he had interaction with any other males?
I've taken him to the dog park. Oh, and that didn't go so great. Most of the time it was fine. But what happened is if there was a fight at the dog park, I think he was taken as a stray. So I think he can't really tell the difference between a kind of like a fun fight and when there's really a fight. So, and he was definitely alarmed by the intact dogs at the park.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be intact dogs.
He's not ready to be a dog park dog.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of them. A lot of them aren't. But at the same time, they do have more options there. It's an open area, and they can retreat if they want. But Great Pyrenees aren't bred to retreat.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
So, what about children? Has he been around kids?
On walks and things, and he's been very chill, very chill with children.
And do you have any cats in your home?
I don't, so I don't know about the cat thing at all.
Okay, so you're like me. Well, I got 2 cats, but I'm not a cat person. Imagine that. Right.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that because my daughter has a cat, and at times she'll be like, "Oh yeah, Mom, I'm going on vacation, and I need you to watch the cat," and then suddenly I have a cat.
You go. Yeah. So, what do you think would be the perfect home for Phil?
Phil is very happy being with Winnie, but he could be an only dog. I think he just needs he needs a person or a couple, ideally who are around the home a lot and who have a yard and who really want a pet. They really want to have this very loving bond with their pet, and Phil will step up to that and reward them with a ton of love. I mean, the look on this dog's face when you're loving on him is actually otherworldly. He's just so sweet.
Wow. Okay. How long have you had him?
Since August 21st.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions? Any more questions, Jamie?
No, I think he sounds absolutely lovely. So all of us will keep him in mind when we're
Yeah.
trying to find a good
Yeah.
home.
And we never did get to see Winnie.
Yeah, I know. I think Winnie must have gone upstairs. She's
She
like,
bailed out.
I don't want to sit around while Phil gets all the attention. That would be Winnie.
Either that or all those strange voices, but nobody's there.
Yeah, it could be that.
Oh, wait a minute. You got earbuds in. She can't hear anything.
Okay.
Wow. So, Stephanie, so Faith, thank you so much for bringing him on. Can you stay up for the show, or do you have other plans? Okay.
No, at some point I'll start eating because I haven't eaten yet today, but I'm delighted to be here. And
okay.
I feel incredibly grateful to this organization and to Gretchen for bringing Winnie into my household. I had a border collie lab mix with long black hair named Jasper, who was my companion for 14 years, and he was getting really old, and I was absolutely bereft. And my friends were like, "You need to get a dog now." And I was like, "I couldn't do that." And they're like, the way they got me is they said, "Well, if you get another dog, then you can talk to your new dog, like about Jasper when he's gone." And that was the hook that got me. And Winnie came into our lives, and she was so good with Jasper. Jasper was a cranky old man and would sometimes snap, like, kind of at her, not on her. And she was just really relaxed. So Pyrs are amazing.
Oh, hey, Faith, yeah. Wendy's asking about barking.
Yeah, not a big problem. I mean, he actually will bark. Winnie will be the one that starts barking, and then he will join in, but very little.
Okay.
Surprisingly
he's been pretty quiet here.
Yeah.
So, but he is a dog, so he can bark, right?
Yeah, he can bark, and if somebody comes to the door, he will definitely bark. But it's not a problem.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
You know, if he were 25 pounds lighter, so that I, physically didn't have the challenges, it'd be like I would not be on the show if he was a pocket Pyr, because he's virtually perfect.
Okay. Well, Susan's asked a question down there. It says, "Are these shows available for replay?" Yes, they are. We don't. Facebook keeps them on the page where we stream to. All 8 destinations. YouTube keeps them up, and so does Facebook. All right. So, and we do stream to 8 different destinations.
That's wonderful.
Utah and Colorado and all over the place. Ohio and Texas and everywhere. So, all right, Faith, thank you so much for fostering and taking care of that boy. And like I said, we'll get if I need any other information, I'll ask you, but we're going to do a video for that boy.
Okay, that's great. He was also heartworm negative when
I saw that. I did see his thing in RG. I did see that, and I say, "Go Phil." All right.
Yeah, exactly. It's so nice.
Okay, this next dog we have coming up, she's a real sweetheart now, and I got to do a video for her too. But once again, I need photos and a bio. And hi guys, hi MJ, hi Ben.
Hey.
Yeah, now Ben's got the big story about Freya. How do you pronounce it?
Freya, yeah.
Thank you, Freya. She, you and her had apparently came to an agreement, didn't you?
We did eventually, yeah. She was not so happy with me when I first met her.
Afraid of you, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was pretty afraid.
Okay.
But after a week, things got a little bit better, and we worked with you, and then another week, and she's now all love. So
now, can we see her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. No offense or anything, but they want to see the dog. All right.
Well, our resident dog is going to join the party as well.
Yeah, he does not like.
And I think I saw some photos of Finn and her having a ball, huh?
Yep, they like to play together, and they're good pals now. Oh,
wow.
He's right. Maybe we can put it on the ground so that.
Yeah.
Now I do want to ask about a certain photo I'm going to bring up. Is that the photo you were telling me about, MJ?
Yeah. So that photo of Freya was the one that we had of her whenever she was on the Code Red youth list in Texas.
Okay.
And so this was the shelter photo. It was her and 3 other dogs in a pack that had been picked up together as strays by animal control. And after about 10 days of being in the shelter, nobody reclaimed them. And all 4 of them were going to be put down. And a new foster to the group who had fostered Pyr's, like with other organizations in Texas, stepped up and grabbed all 4 of them with like a few hours to spare.
Oh, good. Well, good. And look at her now. Boy, she looks like a different dog now.
Yep.
Yeah. We were just saying this morning that her fur seems to have even kind of filled in a bit since I picked her up from transport about a month ago. I don't know if it's adjusting that they're finding, but it's like even quite a bit more full than before.
But look at her and Ben. Look at this.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you and her, Ben, it was a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
she is a sweetie.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Nice work. Nice work.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty small. She is dwarfed by our resident dog who
Is she for some reason she looks big. I don't, maybe it's the
I can probably get her
angle.
stand up, but she's about 70 pounds, and maybe 2/3 the height of our big boy, who's only 90 pounds but a little skinnier. So
yeah, she's quite a bit shorter than him in height, but she's, you know, strong and typical Pyrenees build.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Boy, look at him. Look at this. I just can't get over Ben's. Can do anything he wants to her now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even trimmed her nails the other day, and
Yeah.
she was
Wow.
Wow.
So how long have you had her now?
It was
4
a
weeks.
month yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's an accomplishment in a month then. That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I picked her up while Ben was out of town on a Saturday morning. And he got home really late Sunday night. And she did not like him. So it was about 2 weeks of her being very defensive and nervous and
Charging and
Yeah.
barking. And,
Oh.
but once we spoke with Steve a little bit more, he suggested that Ben just, you know, resort to ignoring her. And as soon as Ben kind of, you know, averted eye contact regularly, she relaxed a lot. And a couple days in, she kept coming up and sniffing him more and putting her nose like on his lap while he was sitting down. And then, you know, slowly graduated to him being able to pet her and rub her belly. And
Mhm.
it goes in waves, but taking that approach made all the difference. And so
Because you did
She
a
been
lot of
around
things
any other
there.
men? Oops, sorry.
She
No, go ahead,
yeah,
James.
she has been around other men, and I think so long as they're introduced slowly and they don't really approach her, she's been pretty good with them. I think we had a friend of mine over for dinner about 2 weeks ago, even before she was really good with me, and he came armed with cheese at the front door, and then
Armed with cheese. I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
and he sat down on the rug, and she would come up and sniff him. He got maybe 1 or 2 pets off
yeah,
in the first night.
he put some Kong ball cheese whiz in his hand, and she was licking it off of his hand by the end of the night. It was pretty funny because she still wouldn't let Ben pet her, but she was eating cheese out of our friend's hand. I think it was just, you know, a totally different
Nice work.
thrill made a big difference. For,
Nice work.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Good job. I knew she could do it eventually.
Yeah.
We just had to find the formula, and the safest thing to do is, well, let's take the threats away.
Yeah.
Okay. Threats from above. We're taller than they are. Okay.
Mhm.
And let's stop telling her where to bite. Bite here. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
And let's just let her do this. And she did it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's eye-opening. You know, I've always had dogs that are generally okay being approached by people, and even our prior fosters were mostly that way. And she's the first one that gets a little spooked. And I'm now realizing how basically everyone we know, they stick their hand out to have her sniff it, which spooks her. And so we just have to be more active with telling them that's actually not a good thing to do, and you just
Roman
the peers sniff around them and come to them on their own terms.
a while back, Roman wrote an article titled "Let the Dog Sniff Your Hand." All right, I even send that out sometimes.
Mhm.
I thought it was you that wrote it. Maybe I wrote it. I don't know. One of us wrote it.
I'm against hand sniffing.
Well, no. That's what it is about. It was sarcasm. The title was sarcastic.
Oh.
Yeah. And basically all that says is bite here. That's why a big percentage of the dog bites in this country are to the hand. We're telling them where to bite.
People don't recognize the consent part, invading the dog space. If I'm reaching out with my hand, how would you do if a truck suddenly... Whoa.
Yeah.
So now that, wow, I'm seeing this heck of a transformation here. And she seems to be a little more comfortable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she apparently likes the water.
So yeah, we actually took her out. We have a little boat here in Seattle, and she multiple times tried to jump overboard.
Yeah.
So she is going into the water.
Oh man,
a little more than we would like. So
it looks like Finn likes the water.
Yeah, he'll get his toes in, but he gets scared when it gets deep. She is that way.
She's wet, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, what a girl you got there. And yep, still a little bit comfortable. Looks like somebody wanted a belly rub.
She lays on her back maybe a third of the time and just goes full belly up.
All right.
Usually wiggling around.
And at this point in time, I don't think that is. I don't think there's anything extra to read into that. So now, what about children? Has she been exposed to children?
We've taken her on a walk at a very popular park for strollers and kids, and she was pretty aloof to them. Like she didn't really care to go up and investigate, but she wasn't recoiling at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gotten increasingly more comfortable. We're in Seattle, so we've been kind of, going to a few different spots. Like whenever we went to Magnuson Off-Leash Dog Park about 2 weeks ago, which can be really busy. We went in the evening when it was less crowded. There weren't many kids around, but she was definitely nervous about all the dogs coming up to her at first. And then the photos of her in the water, that was at the beach access point at the dog park. And it was right there that whenever we unclipped her leash, that she seemed to relax. She was excited to check out the water. She had a really good intro with this really big golden retriever. And then some people came up and pet her, and it was good. And then we've been walking her along the Burt Gilman in our neighborhood, which has a lot of bicyclists going really fast. They can spook her sometimes, but she's getting more comfortable. And then, we were at Maple Leaf Park, which is the one that Ben was talking about, with a lot of strollers, and she seemed totally unfazed. I'm thinking part of it's because she's realizing that, we're part of her pack, and, she feels confident with Ben too, and he's protecting her. And
I think she likes the ear rubs and the treats.
She does. She is a food hound for sure.
Yeah.
So what do you think would be her perfect home?
Yours? So we actually decided yesterday we're gonna keep her. So
yay! Yes. Okay. So perfect.
Yeah. So she's at her perfect home.
And this is what this is all about, everybody.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes.
So
and
nice.
Fostering, you can't beat that job, because it's the only job you can get where failure is actually a good thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mhm.
But it was great because we knew that we wanted to get a second dog at some point, and she's our fifth foster, and every one of them has been great through.
Okay.
GPRS.
Now, will you still be able to foster with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it'll be fine. We're going to take a break through the holidays, just because we have some other stuff going on where it complicates it, but we plan to keep doing that. And and I mean, I think she's a great dog too to have as a resident dog to future fosters. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have to move again and go through this.
Yeah. But it's fun to get to see how she fits in. And it just became very clear that her and our dog get along great, and she suits our lifestyle really well. And she's just the right energy level for us that it made sense.
Well, congratulations, Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You going to keep her name? Or you going to change it?
We were talking about it this morning. We haven't decided yet.
Her name's good, but that's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to have anything associated with it that's bad, and so it's totally up to you. It's not a requirement, or you can do whatever you want because she'll be your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys. That's some good news, and it was breaking news right here on the Rescue Show.
Yeah, that's so great.
She has the sweetest face. She's very cute.
Oh my God.
I had a funny feeling the way Ben was handling her that we were going to hear something eventually.
I foster failed twice, so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, Jamie adopted a dog that, boy, I'll tell you, if I just hugs to her, she adopted B.
And I kept her name. She's right here.
She kept her name, okay.
Yeah,
B was featured
laying behind me right there.
Yeah, B was featured on the show. What the week after you got her?
Yeah. And I got her sister adopted as well. And I took her. I had her sister over here to get her socialized. And yeah, so bumpy. And
Toby, we'll get Toby back on if he doesn't get adopted first, because Krista is one of the hosts of the show. So we'll get Toby. Toby's a Mastiff Pyrenees mix, and he is a big boy. At 11 months, I think he weighed in 120 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, his sister was on too, Delilah. She got adopted.
Yep.
And
a great family. Yeah.
And she was a big girl. So boy, I'll tell you, old Toby, and it's spelled Tobee. The reason for that is there's already a Toby with GPRS, and they didn't want confusion.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. So at least he didn't get a funny name. So Delilah and Toby both had good names. But yeah, Delilah got adopted, and that was great. Now it's Toby's turn. And we'll get him on here. Don't you worry none about that. So now,
Steve,
you guys.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? I have a question that's relevant to this. Could you talk about the 2 female peers in the household thing? Because Ben and MJ talked about maybe continuing to foster, and that's a question that I have in terms of future dogs in my household.
Now, what was the question again?
I was told that with one female that the dynamic would probably be better with my next dog being male, and that there's more likelihood of conflict. For example, if you had 2 females, I'd like some information about that.
Okay. Now I'm going to chime in first, and then we'll let Roman chime in, because there's a, how do I want to put this? It definitely, I've never heard of same-sex aggression until I heard of rescue.
Okay.
All right. And now, is it real? I've never seen it. I've never seen the sex of the dog trigger an altercation. We've always identified other triggers. All right. But now we'll let Roman come in, and let's go further, because he may have seen something where sex did have something to do with the altercation.
Okay. Hi there. I'm Roman with Holistic Dog Training. And for those who don't know me yet, yes, I do not have a Pyrenees in my house. Just to give a heads up. But I work a lot with Pyrenees, and because of my living conditions, I cannot have that. However, in regards to your question, if 2 female dogs are a trigger for having dog fights, yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
If I bring another girlfriend in my house, my wife definitely will have a problem with that. And if I don't address the issues early enough, telling her, hey, this is my sister, okay, things will be escalating. So from that perspective, genetically speaking, over generations, dogs lived in groups of 3 to 13 dogs. Now, over a period of time, we develop general dogs. Guardian dogs are a little bit different because what we want in a guardian dog in the field is having a dog protecting the herd, but at the same time, we need a dog who also work the front. So we have two fronts. We have one in the front and one in the back.
Yeah.
And so we have the first defense system and the second defense system. So let's go all the thousands of years back where we have a shepherd and a guardian dog, a herding dog. He wouldn't have only one dog. He would have more than one dog, right? And back then, you couldn't pick up the phone and call a breeder and order a dog. You would have your own stock that you're going to work with. And eventually we'll have friends or colleagues or family members who work on another mountain with other dogs. So you're going to have a dog family who are split in different directions. Let's go more extreme. We are up in the mountains in the French Alps, or if we talk about guardian dogs, somewhere in the Middle East or in Italy, wherever that is, in Greece. You have 100, 200 stock animals, and then you need to protect them. You have flanks. You have right, left, front. You go in a direction. You cannot handle one dog. You can have more than one dog, maybe two dogs in the minimum, right? In order to proceed with them, you may have one option. You have a female dog, and then you have a male dog because you want to reproduce, have puppies at some point, and keep that stock going. But at some point, you're going to have three dogs. Now, how would you do that? You have two males and one female, or you have one female and two males? Or you're going to have three males or three females.
Yeah.
So either way, nature doesn't make the distinction, oh, you're a female, I'm going to take you down. That could happen if the dog is in heat.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we have natural situation happening, the dog is in heat, then the males start becoming territorial and protective of the female. Everybody wants to go first. I'm the good guy. I have all the genes. Get me first. And then you have the female says, hey, I'm in heat. I take care of business. And so we see that if nature kicks in and dogs are not spayed and neutered, that could be a problem.
But
where I see the problem in pets is, and I keep it shorter, is that if we're not having in the family a family code of conduct and everybody can do what he wants, you're going to end up in problem because each dog from a different place will have different code of conduct, and everybody tries to push this agenda. Some people call it dominance, but it's not what it is. So if a dog has a problem, they're going to have a dispute, and then they don't know how to solve the dispute, they're going to fight about it. And if I don't teach my dogs to come to me with the dispute, telling them, hey, mom, she's being a bad girl, then you will not being able to be there in time to address the issue. So if dogs get in a fight, it's because they don't know how to solve the troubles. It's a parenting problem. And I'm not saying it's you or you the problem. I say sometimes we miss that part to educating the dogs how to react on default if a problem arises. So we want to teach them to come to us first and complain about it so we can step in and troubleshoot the problem.
And how do you do that, Roman? How do you get them? I had a foster female. I have 3 females in my house and 1 male. And I always foster females. I would like to foster a male, but I had a foster female that was also alpha, and so was my oldest one. So how do you get them to come to you?
First, there is no alpha.
No, there's no alpha. We got to get that out of our head.
No. The reason why, let's not go down the alpha theory rabbit hole. I'm going to share a link in the comments at some point.
Right.
Or maybe Steve can do it. Now, there's a dominance hierarchy that is misinterpreted and being downsized to garbage bin. Mm-hmm. And there is the dominance hierarchy that is scientific researched, and it has a completely different context. Let's put that aside. The dominance theory from the alpha perspective has been debunked by the one who invented it, Dr. David Neck, who was hired by the Department of Agriculture to study wolves in captivity, and he ended up spending his weeks up in the mountains with the wolves. He changes his mind about it. He said, sorry, guys, I'm wrong, but he doesn't have the right to his book, so the book was out.
It was already published, yes.
So, going back to the question, how do you start so the girls or the boys refer to you first? I want you for a moment to think away from humanizing dogs and think about humans and dogs are mammals. And mammals who have a complex family system, they are matriarchic system. So everybody refers about the mom. If mom says, everybody's going to die out, right? And so therefore, if mom sets the family code of conduct, everybody refers to mom. What we create is we create a secure attachment relationship between the puppies and the caregiver. Secure attachment, everybody has a clue? Already start typing in. This is what Roman means with secure attachment. I have a link to that at some point. So the secure attachment is where the puppy feels safe to be cared for, provided for by his caregiver. And in that case, humans become the surrogate parents. So we have to establish us to that level of a surrogate parent by our actions. I have already a link in the comments. Sorry, groups and societies that I posted on your behalf. I wasn't aware that's going to end up like that. In the book, Do No Harm, there is a very interesting subject.
That's the Do No Harm Dog Training and Behavior Handbook. That's in
right. This is a little list. It says the hierarchy of dog needs. Has nothing to do with Egypt. Okay.
And there's no alpha or dominance in there.
What it says the first thing you have to do is meet the dog needs. And I say, if you want to build secure attachment relationships, start with meeting your dog needs. Food, water, exercise, safety, temperature control, grooming, gentle veterinary care. Did I forget anything? Air and sleep. So you as a caregiver need to secure that your dog has all these things. And automatically you got your dog's attention. And then what you want to fulfill is the emotional needs. So let's go back to Ben and his wife, if I'm MJ.
MJ, yeah.
Where what they did, the dog was scared. He did not have a secure attachment relationship. And just like magic in a month, because they provided everything that she needs, she's like, oh my God, you guys are the more important people to me. Click. Build secure attachment relationship. And from there, the way to the dog's potential is open.
Yep.
So if you want to have peace and mind in your home and you have an established secure attachment relationship, yeah.
Thank you.
Or you reach out to Steve or I.
Jamie says, how do we get them to come to us? Okay, there's prerequisites to everything. Okay.
I got the question. Come to us is what? To return to us?
You know, to check in.
Oh, simple as that. Watch this. Watch me. Exhibit A. Say the dog's name and deliver a treat.
That's right.
Treat. Name, treat. Just like that. Now, for those dogs who are really snapping, put the treat in between your fingers. Exhibit B, treat. Say the dog's name and offer the treat. The dog will pick it up. Right? The next thing you're going to do, you're going to say the dog's name. Do this for 10 rounds. 10. Only one dog in a time. Only one dog in a room. Take the treat. Toss the treat. The dog runs to pick it up. Call that. Go get it. Creating a need for the dog to return to you. You call that come. Default. Once you toss the treat, the dog will pick it up. Then he returns back to you, reward, and that you will call come. As the dog comes to you, what you do, you pair emotions with behavior. Click. Right? And since we're creating free conditioning, the dog learns to return on his own free will, which you call come. Next time you say come, the dog wants to come to you because that's how he feels.
So
and in the meantime,
what if you're fighting? I mean, this is what I, like fosters come into the house and I've had. My dogs are great. My dogs together, I have 4 dogs, 3 years.
If dogs fight because they come to your home, you rushed it.
Yep.
You didn't establish a secure attachment relationship first. You went too far, too fast.
I've kept them separated like for a week.
Right.
Yeah.
But
may not be long enough.
There is a saying out there: 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. Forget about it.
Yeah,
it's false. It's incorrect because I didn't marry my wife in 3 days, in 3 weeks, in 3 months. Right. So a dog with trauma, a complex trauma survivor. If the dog has trauma, it's not going to last 3 days or 3 weeks, 3 months. It's a sequence of events. If you not build secure attachment relationship, he will not trust you. He doesn't trust you. He doesn't trust the dog either. Or the dog trusts the other dog, bonds with that dog, create a team, and you have nothing to say about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a sequence of things that have to happen. The dog needs to trust you first, and you got your dog And everybody has to learn the same things, the same cues. They have to speak the same language. You need to know the potential of one dog. Okay, going back to my exhibit A. If I want to see how a dog reacts with another dog, I'm gonna one of those fake dogs, set him up in a yard facing the tree, see butt, black hole here. That's what the dog will see from far. And I let my dog, the foster dog, meet that dog and see what's going to happen. I will see body posture, tendencies, what the dog is thinking through, how he behaves around that. I take that image, memorize it, or even video record it, and then observe how does my dog that I care for get to that dog. Is he going straight to the neck? Ooh, call someone for help because that's you're not going to deal with.
Right.
Okay. Is the dog going sniff the butt first? Yay! Reward that. Be ready to reward this. Teach the dog. You accept that. You support. That's a great thing to do. If the dog next thing is going to do, going to the face, not right. Come to me instead. Remember what I told you? Get the teacher dog to come to you. That's the first opportunity. Sniff the butt and come to me. All right. One thing the dogs may do is going after the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel insecure, if they don't know how to build relationships, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to try to assert their way versus his way or her way. That doesn't mean they're dominant. They can be also very insecure. I'm going to do it to you before you're going to do it to me kind of thing. And you don't want to encourage that, and you don't want to punish that either. And you don't want to be the last wheel in the road. You want to call your dog back if you see that list going like, they target the shoulder. Just the intention targeting the shoulder could be a trigger for the other dog.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Now, why do they sniff butts?
Have you ever seen a butt biting you?
Thank you.
Just a thought, right?
Don't bite.
The butt never bites. And on the other hand, when I approach the butt, I give, that's a dog with mouth, right? The dog goes to the
Come here,
butt.
baby.
The first thing I give the dog a chance to walk away.
That's right.
So I'm giving the dog a chance to move. So big yard, big area, freedom to move, loose leash. And if you don't have a loose leash on the dog to meet that fake dog, don't even get started. Work on your leash training first, and then go with the dog for a meet up.
Right. And always
But that's
remember,
just me talking about it.
Always remember, if a dog goes over another dog's shoulders, that doesn't mean it's dominance. That's actually a lack of confidence. Okay.
Very often.
Yep. So,
does it answer questions? Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense, raise your hands in your comments.
it can see. There's a lot that happens. Okay. And once you get used to once, it's easy the second time, third and fourth. Okay. Just do it from the dog's perspective. That's all. So we got to move on with some questions here.
Okay.
And you had a few coming in off the internet. Have you picked out which one you want to start with?
Oh, I have to pick? Damn it. Well, let's start with I remember there's a foster dog that eats dirt.
That eats dirt, yes.
Right? That's
There's
Rosie.
a
actually
GPRS
sent it, right?
foster that likes to eat sand and dirt. Yeah.
So a dog that eats dirt is not a dirty dog. So there are multiple things that may happen. So you want to rule them out. The first I would easily rule out is dietary deficiencies, which means the dog from where he came from, and no offense to anyone who fostered the dog before, may have insufficient nutrient intake. And so the dog will supplement certain bacteria and certain enzymes from the soil. Number one. So we want to check in food, increase food, improve food. And I would feed a dog who comes to me for care. I have one downtown with me in my training shed. He is an Akbash mix. They call him Pyrenees mix. I didn't see that. And the first thing I did, I fed him 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. Small meals, 10 to 15% over the recommended suggestion. I want the dog to gain weight first. So I know he's definitely enough nutrient intake. I feed high quality nutritional food. Some people get stuck with kibble. That's fine. But I make sure the dog has nutrient availability. just because it's on the book or in your dog food bag doesn't mean the food is available as they pretend to be in the bag. They say they put it in there, synthetic or not, but it doesn't say if the dog has access to it. Will the dog die from that? No. But you want to make sure that you have high quality dog food. And I'm not saying kibble or raw. It's up to that. Now, I also put in the comments, if you want to learn more about that, I would go to this book here. Right? Link is in the comments. And
Cool.
so you learn from the source how to evaluate nutrition. And I don't want you to become a scientist, but at least you need to know what they're trying to sell you in that bag that you buy with your own money. Instead of feeding the dog, you're feeding their pockets.
Right.
So next thing, what we want to rule out is chronic health concerns. So eating dirt can sign of medical conditions like inflammatory bowel disease, hypothyroidism. So go to your vet and hold on a second. There's a lot of water noise in the background.
Yeah.
And I have ADD, squirrel.
You're going to run? You're going to chase them?
Almost there. And so you want to make sure that you insist for a veterinarian to rule it out. Now, I love veterinarians. Sometimes there are a lot of things to do. They want you to get out as quickly as possible to get the next client in. Insist. You're paid for it. Insist to check and rule these things out. Okay? Dogs who have lots of vaccinations because they got vaccinated because they came from rescue or they came from an owner surrender who didn't surrender the papers, we don't know, so they have to force to vaccinate him. So automatically the dog is over vaccinated and these things can happen. Mm-hmm. So the next thing you want to look for is tasty dirt.
Tasty dirt.
Right? Tasty dirt, like you put sprinkle some, on your sausages, some sprinkle things on top of it. So yeah, some dogs are interested to the scent and eat it. That's okay. Now, for example, you walk in the area from near the garbage bin where the neighbor drops us his garbage and something sauce is juicing out of the box on the garbage bag. Your dog is going to like to lick it out, but that's usually not the case. It's very rare. However, behavior issues can happen. So the dog, for example, is bored, nothing else to do, and he noticed that if he eats soil, he gets your attention. Ta-da! Dogs eats food, you got attention. The more food he eats, the more attention he gets. So be careful if that's the case. And then I've noticed the dogs have stomach upset because of bad quality food, because of allergies. Dogs don't feel well. So the first thing they're going to do, they need access to something that's going to ease their pain in the belly. Some dogs are smart enough to try to get to grass, and sometimes they have this thing called zoopharmacognosy. It comes from Greek zoo, which is animal, gnosi, which is knowledge, and gnosi, and pharmaco, which means medicine. So dogs have this thing that they have self-conscious knowing which medicine they need to ease the belly. And so that can happen. And if the dog doesn't have access to plants, he's going to go after dirt. Some dogs will selectively pick certain leaves or certain plants on the ground. If you're careful in your yard and you don't use preservatives,
Fertilizers.
Fertilizer stuff. Don't. You have a dog in your house, that should not be in your home. Right. Be careful of your plants that you have in the yard. You don't want toxic plants because dog will grab them because they're there because he has nothing else to do with it.
Right. Now, can that also be a nervous reaction?
Well, nervousness can cause upset stomach. So stomach upset is a connection of multiple things. A, dietary deficiency, chronic problems, behavior issues, and stress. It's kind of a whole tree.
Okay.
From a holistic perspective, I always see the tree rather than just the fruits on the tree, right? And so if we would have a consultation, the first thing I'm going to look for is trauma timeline, adoption timeline, and then behavior timeline. And I match them together and see what comes first, what comes second, and how they're interconnected. And then we make a call what to do with it. But usually the first thing to rule out is dietary deficiency and chronic health concerns.
Okay. Cool.
Does it answer the question?
Yeah, got a good start. Now, in between your here and your next question, we have a comment.
Hold on. Right. Before I finish up, before I forget, If your dog eats soil and eats stones and stuff, condition your dog to wear a muzzle. So there's a whole muzzle protocol. Steve may likely have something for you. So check in with Steve. He may have something on his website that teaches you how to put the muzzle on your dog without causing any problems. And
Actually,
have the
I
muzzle
don't.
be your safety feature.
I sent them to your YouTube for that series you did.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have that links on I send out a Word document. It's got the links to your series you did on muzzle training. It's a good one too, very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she has 3
this
female
is
Pyrenees.
commenting about the 2 female dogs. Okay, and she said that they had 3 females for a number of years with no issue. I believe it has a lot to do with personality. Are they submissive? Are they dominant? Whether being female or male. Well,
No, I wouldn't say submission and dominant is not a natural dog behavior.
no, that's not. That's
like
a human.
You don't find
that's a human
submissive
word.
or dominant people out there unless they have a problem.
Yeah, that's a human thing.
Right.
So, but anyway, I'm glad about that. So, do you remember one of your other questions?
Yeah. The other one was Sulas, if I remember right.
Was who?
Having destructive chewing, the trim, carpentry, etc.
Okay.
Is it right?
Let me bring up the emails here.
Yeah. So she, Mali, yeah, Christine, got it. So Christine works with fosters a great GPRS in Houston. Houston, can you hear me? And so she had behavior concerns about her dog who be unattended for any period of time, and if they leave, the dog has to be crated because she has destructive behaviors, etc. So what we're looking for here is definitely the dog has separation anxiety, and we have to see that from that perspective. The dog is not destructive that we have to focus on. The dog has separation anxiety, and separation anxiety is a disorder. It's not a behavior, so to speak. It's kind of like being jealous. It's not normal. You're jealous because of multiple reasons. So separation anxiety happens likely for dogs naturally when they are born. So they have separation anxiety from their mothers. It keeps them quiet and in place, so they're not being exposed to natural elements and predators, right? So separation anxiety is natural, is good, but at the same time is fading out. It's fading out because mom always returns and rewards them for waiting and being quiet, and nobody took them away from their spot. So we want to address separation anxiety by starting from that space, teaching the dog that you only be gone for a short period of time and you'll be right back with something that gives them pleasure. To start that, we need to recognize that a dog gets anxious and problematic when you begin to leave. So you have to write down a list of questions. When is my dog triggering the separation anxiety? So it's very simple. We start pacing or panting or start moving and following you around. And so understanding that will help you desensitizing those individual triggers. And there's a protocol out there called relaxation protocol that I usually recommend. So if you guys have issues with that, don't wait. It's not going to go away on its own. You cannot dump it in a crate or block it in the crate and expect it to go away. What we create is a term helplessness. The dog is trapped in a crate, has nothing else to do. He basically internally shuts down. So crate is not the solution for a separation anxiety. It can make it entirely wrong. Even if your house is safe, your dog is not safe from it. So I post a link in your comments, and the groups or everybody who has those groups that it will likely share by accident, I'm sorry for that, delete it if you don't want it on it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, post it. So I share a link, which is an appointment. You can schedule that appointment if you have a problem with it. And the code is New Hope.
Yep.
23.
New Hope Pyrs 23.
No, New Hope 10. New Hope 10 is the code.
New Hope Pyrs 10.
You use that code to get a discount, and only you guys who were live here on the show. That gets automatically New Hope, another appointment to give to people who have problems with their dogs. So you paid forward. You get your session, get your help, and you automatically give somebody help who doesn't have the finances or needs support for their dogs.
So what Roman just said if you book with him, New Hope gets a session that we can give to someone else.
Right. So separation anxiety is not one thing done. It can take very long. I have worked with people who took a month or 2 or 3 months, very complex situations. People couldn't even leave the house to go to work. They happily work from home, but at some point it was a problem. And we have to do a proper analysis of exactly why separation anxiety happens, from nutritional deficiency, from trauma, from learned behaviors. These are kind of complex. So destructive behavior is the end of those behaviors where things are very destructive. Dogs can even harm themselves in that state. Okay. So you're going to find a lot of information out there on the internet. Oh, separation anxiety, do this and that. Not trust those things. Separation anxiety is not a behavior. It's a illness. The dog needs emotional support and help, sometimes medication.
And the first thing that has to be figured out, is it separation anxiety? Okay.
Right. Sometimes it's not.
It's boredom,
Sometimes.
maybe.
Right.
The dog needs
boredom
a job.
can be destructive. Stress can be destructive. Sometimes the dog not being able to care for his person can also cause frustration, and frustration can cause destruction. So if a dog feels he has to be with a person because it's the only job he has and the person is gone, like, hey, hello, what about my job? How can I get to you? Well, I can get to you by chewing myself through the door. That's how I get to you. It's not separation anxiety. It's work-related anxiety. Good. And I have 1 minute left, guys. Any other questions? Good. I cannot. Maybe it's
Steve, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. Good. Okay.
Sorry about that. I
So-
was muted when I coughed. I don't know how you can answer a question in a minute. I can't.
Okay. So, but I will reply to everyone who sent me the email. I will reply via email reply. And so
Cool.
whatever we said, it's back with an email.
Yeah. Now, next week, everybody. Now, Roman won't be here next week because
I will.
Okay. Well, you're going to see a parade. You're going to see the Pyr Parade then.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be similar to what we did back in July, and except they're going to be in full costume for Halloween.
I will be in my costume too.
All right. I can't wait to see that. You're going to dress like a dog?
No, you don't want to see that.
Wow, what a show. And
So
the
was
email
it
doesn't
helpful?
stop. The email is askroman@newhopepyrs.org. Okay. And I didn't put it in the banners because I was really, really busy all the way up until just before the show.
I know. I helped you out here.
Okay, you helped me out. Thanks. Anyway, so everybody, next week we have a Pyr Parade, and we got some surprises coming up anyway, like Christmas. What are we going to do for Christmas? Well, we shouldn't disappoint you. So, bye, everybody.
Bye.